Good evening, everyone. We're ready to begin this evening's board meeting. Sergeant Arms, has the front lobby been cleared? Yes. Thanks, Chief. We request that all electronic devices be turned off or put in silent mode. Also, please refrain from using flash photography except during the special presentations portion of the meeting. I'm pleased to welcome you to the May 7, 2024 school board meeting. The time is 6 p.m. and the meeting is called to order. Prior to the start of tonight's meeting, we had been enjoying music performed by the North Fort Myers School Brass Quartet under the direction of Sarah Johnson Scalise. This group consists of Ian Laufer, Diego Figurato on trumpet, Cooper Konarski on trombone, and Tristan Sistari on French horn. Members of this performing group consist of students who made top positions at the Lee County Honor Band and FMEA All-State. Additionally, these students perform all around the county at events such as the Golden Apple Banquet, Wicked Walk, Art Walk, and with the Naples Philharmonic Jazz Group. These 4 graduating seniors will be continuing their music education in some form when they attend programs at Florida Gulf Coast University, the University of Central Florida, Florida Southwestern, and the University of Miami. Please help me give this performing group a round of applause. Now, if you want to begin your last song, thank you. Great job, North Fort Myers Quartet. Please give us a moment while the performance area is cleared. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We'd like to take this opportunity to remind the members of the public of this district's mission, which is to ensure that each student achieves his or her highest potential and the district's vision to be a world-class school system. At this moment, we're going to move on to the agenda for tonight, which includes a moment of silence, presentation of colors and the Pledge of Allegiance, acknowledgements, recognitions, public comment, consent action items, which include 1 item under Board Office, 2 items under Academic Services, 2 items under Business Services, 3 items under Human Resources, 8 items under Operations, 1 item under Attorney's Recommendation, and 4 items under Good of the Order and Other Business. Board members, is there a motion to adopt tonight's agenda?
I move to adopt tonight's agenda.
Do we have a second? Okay. Moved by Ms. Langford Fleming, second by Ms. Jordan. Oh, did you second?
I wait for you to call me, then I say
Yes. Well, you already.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so that's a second. We're confirming. Okay. Okay. It's been moved by Ms. Langford Fleming and seconded by Ms. Jordan. Please record your vote. We're good. Okay. Motion passes 7-0 for the agenda. As is the custom of the board, I will lead us in a moment of silence, after which Mrs. Morgan will lead us in the presentation of colors and Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I'm going to ask everyone to bow their heads in a moment of silence. Thank you. Thank you. Mrs. Morgan.
Introducing the cadet presenting our nation's colors tonight is Sergeant First Class Thomas Brooks, U.S. Army instructor from Oasis Charter High School. Sergeant Brooks served 22 years in the Army in a variety of assignments, including Schofield Barracks, Hawaii, and Camp Victory, Iraq. After retiring from the Army, he became a JROTC instructor in April 2009. This is Sergeant First Class Brooks's 3rd year as an instructor in Lee County.
Thank you, Mrs. Morgan. Presenting the national colors tonight is Cadet Major Sophie Garcia, the Oasis Charter High School Shark Battalion Commander. In addition to filling the role of City of Cape Coral Youth Council Vice Chair, she is actively involved in several JROTC teams, serving as the Drill Team Commander and Saber Team Commander. Her plan after high school is to attend the University of Florida with bright futures. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. I want to introduce everyone to this evening's student representative, Abigail Kudnick, or as she tells us, AJ, who is a junior attending Cape Coral High School. AJ is a part of the IB program and actively participates in various extracurriculars. She's the editor-in-chief of the Seahawks Eye, Southwest Florida's only student-run newspaper, and has won multiple state awards for it. AJ is the captain of the girls' cross-country and track and field teams, and has been on the team since her freshman year. AJ is also involved in a plethora of other clubs like IB Ambassadors and the National Honor Society. She is the president of Quill and Scroll, and is a founding member of the Cape Coral High School chapter of the National English Honor Society. After high school, AJ hopes to attend American University, the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, Furman University, or Emory University to major in neuroscience and psychology on a pre-med track. She aims to go to medical school to pursue a career in neurosurgery or psychiatry. Please welcome AJ. Thank you for joining us. AJ, whenever you're ready, please address the acknowledgements.
Thank you.
Ms. Morgan?
Got it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. The Florida Dance Performance Assessment Recognition will be presented. Patience. Patience is the calm acceptance that things can happen in a different order than the one that you have in mind. By David G. Allen. The design displayed is by Preston Trinasti, an 11th grade student at Estero High School.
Thank you. And if board members want to join us in the pit for, if she wants.
She didn't read it, she was doing the
Oh, sorry.
acknowledgement first, now she's doing the recognition.
Good evening. The Florida Dance Performance Assessment Recognition will be presented by School Board Vice Chair Jayla Langford Fleming. The Florida Junior Thespians All-State Recognition will be presented by School Board member Kathleen O'Daniel Morgan. The JORTC National Drone Competition Winners Recognition will be presented by School Board Member Chair Samuel Fisher. The 2024 Southeast Aerial Drone Championship Recognition will be presented by School Board Member Armor Persons. Please join me in the pit for recognitions.
Each year, the Florida Dance Education Association holds its statewide dance performance assessment in Tampa. This assessment is a standards-based evaluation of student performance that provides invaluable feedback to the dance teachers and students. This past February, 3 schools representing our outstanding dance programs from our district participated at this state recognition event. If there are any administrators or educators present, please come up and join us. I ask that members of the public pause their applause until all students have been called. If we have a student who is not in attendance tonight, they will receive their certificate later. Yeah, I noticed.
Okay, it should be here. I mean, it should have said that in the script.
Okay. So just skip them now. Okay. Tonight we have with us Lehigh Senior High School. The principal is Derek Grote, teacher Lauren Gomez, followed by these all-star students: Ashley Borrego, Andrea Garcia Mesa, Fallon Glaser, Judah Hansen, Vanica Laguerre, Diana Lastra Suarez, Gabriela Maville, Michelle Mendez, Dora Pierre, Naomi Roche, Gianna Sanchez. Do you want to do one school at a time? Okay. This is Lehigh Senior High. Yep. Our next school, North Fort Myers Academy of the Arts, Principal Andy Miller and teacher Tracy Fischler. Please forgive me if I mispronounce your names ahead of time. Yuli bin Oved, Sarah Collins, Layla Lefko, Kinsley Green, Sophia Guth, Addison Hall, Stratton Reed, Alyssa Reitz, Carrington Slaybog, Skylar Sosi, Luciana Valencia, Cheyenne Walker, Sophia Wolford, and Madison Walter. The school board and superintendent are pleased to recognize and extend congratulations to all of these talented adults. Students.
So that's it for them? Each year, the Florida Junior Thespians Organization holds statewide individual events and one-act competition for middle school theater students. This year, Lee County Junior Thespian students competed at the state level in events such as technical costume design, solo musical numbers, duet acting, improvisation, and ensemble acting. The students we recognize tonight received the highest rating of superior at this competition. If there are any administrators or educators present, please come up and join us. I ask that members of the public hold their applause until all students have been called. If we have a student who is not in attendance this evening, they will receive their certificate later. We are thrilled to honor the following junior thespians. From Challenger Middle School, Principal Stacia Winfrey, Teacher Megan Leonard, students Ashlyn Wooten, Bailey McFarland, Jocelyn Eisen, Nora Wenga, Kaylee Critties, Genesis Albritton, Robert Gosling, and Talia Walters. I guess I'm going to do the picture. Yes. All right. Next, okay. From Golf. That's okay.
They're not here either. It should have been in the script.
They're not here.
No.
They're here. Congratulations, guys. Thank you. Great. You're welcome. North Fort Myers Academy for the Arts, Principal Andy Miller, Teacher Kathy Rivadeneira, students Fiona Mullen, Scarlett Olivia, Alexandria Guido de Jesus, Jada Smith, Jacqueline Alcantara, Luciana Valencia, Addie Culbertson, Layla Lefko, Skylar Sosi, Addie Hall, Sophia Guth. The school board and superintendent are pleased to recognize and extend congratulations to these students.
The Ida S. Baker High School Drone Team has won the 2024 Southeast Aerial Drone Championship, beating out 50 other schools from Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Tennessee. The competition was held at the Mississippi Coliseum in Jackson, Mississippi from April 12th to 13th, 2024. During this competition, students were given 4 missions: teamwork, autonomous flight, piloting skills, and communication. The team from Ida Baker, comprised of Owen Guzik and Paul Knapp, dominated their competitors and brought home the first County Drone Southeastern Championship title. The school board and the superintendent are pleased to recognize these talented students along with their instructor, Sergeant Major Brian Elmore, for their commitment, determination, and hard work that led to this outstanding accomplishment. Congratulations.
Additionally, Cape Coral High School was awarded the Inspire Award, competing against 27 teams in the Silver Division. Cape Coral High's drone team is coached by Lieutenant Colonel John Blyler. The team members include Ashley Roser and Jacob Martinez and Camilo Quezada. The Inspire Award recognizes a team in each division that shares their experiences, enthusiasm, and knowledge with others in the aerial drone competition community. The team exhibits passion and a positive attitude toward the event and/or the aerial drone competition program. The team also exhibits integrity and goodwill toward other teams, coaches, and spectators. The school board and superintendent are pleased to recognize these students along with their coaches for their commitment, determination, and hard work that led to this outstanding accomplishment.
Oh, they're here.
Did he skip it?
Padron and Moya?
Yeah, yeah, Mr. Persons. Yeah, yeah.
Did you get this part?
The JROT National Drone Competition took place in Batesville, Mississippi from April 4th through 6th. The Lee County School District had 2 teams. We just gave one out. The Ida Baker High School Drone Team was awarded the Flight Operations Award. The team competed against 26 teams in the Silver Division. Ida Baker's drone team is coached by Sergeant Major Brian Elmore. The team members include Megan Padron and Marie Moya Verdecia. Is that correct? Congratulations.
We'll take a moment while people clear out of here. Thank you. Okay, next up on the agenda is public comment. Attorney DeBrie Bruno, please address the item of public comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. School board policy provides the opportunity at this point in the meeting to address the board concerning any matter on this meeting's agenda or any other matter relevant to the operation of the school district. Please complete a public comment card and put it in the basket provided. If you need a public comment card, they are provided by our staff. The rules concerning public comment are posted in the back and will be made from the podium in the front center aisle. Please be advised that the board will not respond during public comment to remarks made by speakers. Concerns will be addressed by the superintendent or his staff as necessary, and the chair may comment as deemed appropriate at the conclusion of public comment. The superintendent or board attorney may also comment if deemed appropriate. The purpose of public comment is to provide feedback on district issues such as duties, responsibilities, decisions, and the general operation of the district. The school board is viewpoint neutral during public comment. We ask that decorum be kept and respect be shown, which is what is expected when a government agency conducts official business. Therefore, abusive language such as cursing, insults, derogatory language levied against an individual or a class of people are prohibited. Further, personal attacks such as name-calling are prohibited. In addition, clapping, hissing, booing, or a display of temper during public comment is prohibited. Speakers who fail to follow proper decorum in the chambers will be ruled out of order by the board chair or the parliamentarian. Any speaker continuing with such remarks will be required to relinquish the microphone per board policy 0169.1 and may be removed from the chambers by the sergeant at arms. Per board policy 0169.1, the time per speaker is 3 minutes if there are 20, 2 minutes if there are 30, and 1 minute if there are 31 speakers or more. The maximum time allotted for public comment is 1 hour, 60 speakers. You will find a countdown on the big screen in the front of the room. Once your time has elapsed, the microphone will automatically shut off. Please state your name when you approach the microphone. I will call you 5 speakers at a time, and please follow staff's direction when lining up. Mr. Chairman, there are 13 speakers that wish to address the board this evening. That is 3 minutes per speaker.
Thank you, Attorney DeBrie Bruno. Please ensure you have completed a public comment card to provide public comment. The card is a public record identifying those who speak and providing contact information to staff for follow-up. These cards are located with staff in the hallway. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address the board but did not fill out a public comment card? Please raise your hand. Okay. I am seeing none, so Attorney DeBrie Bruno, please proceed with public comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Will the following individuals please line up? Robert Daniels, Maggie Walters, Susan Scherer, Robert Valenta, Robert Roper. Just line up and then they will direct you. So go in the back there where Mr. Newland is. Thank you.
Robert Daniels. When I graduated FGCU back in the spring of 2011, I was one of 200 hopeful teachers that came to the district looking for work. That summer, I applied to both social studies positions that were open that year and all 3 science positions that were open in the district. I wasn't hired. I had to go work at a charter school for a year. I came back. That next summer, I applied to both social studies positions and all 3 science positions that were open that year too. Nobody hired me until very late in July. A virtual school position for science was opened, and I was hired the day before preschool week started to get into Lee County. Back then, we were fighting each other tooth and nail to come here and work for the district. And I've already told you what wages were like comparatively back then, adjusted for inflation. You said that you sent a recruitment team down to FGCU here recently, and only 19 people wanted to work for you. That, if nothing else, should be indicative that there is a problem in the appeal of working for Lee County Schools when we have over 600 openings posted for teachers next year. It's a problem you've inherited. It is none of your fault. Took a long time getting to this point, but we are calling on you to fix that. Part of it was being fixed last time around with the raise that was given to the teachers then. But as we said repeatedly, it was one step in the right direction. And we need further steps in the right direction. I'm saying this in behalf of all the teachers who can't be here to say this because they're working second jobs, third jobs, they're coaching, they're doing for the kids what they're not willing to do for themselves, which is have a voice for them. I'm saying this not for myself, but for the teachers who are struggling very deeply to try to get by. There are teachers out there who used to volunteer at the food banks and donate money to them, who now stand in line with their children on the weekends. Is that how you think your staff should be spending their Saturdays? Standing in line at the food bank instead of going out and help fundraise for those food banks? 7 years ago, when I bought my house and moved into Midtown, I used to be able to donate $100 worth of dog food every month to the pound. I can't do that anymore. I used to be able to donate to the local food bank, just a church 3 blocks from me. I can't do that anymore. If I was to do that, then I'd probably have to go and get into those lines myself after a very extended diet. The times have changed and we just need to keep up. Please raise the contribution.
Thank you for your comment.
Next speaker.
Hi, good evening. My name is Suzanne Scherer, and I've been a Lee County resident since the 80s. One of the things that came to my attention is the issue with the bus stop over at Marina Bay. Let me disclose, I'm also a realtor who sells real estate in these communities every day. I think it is a great opportunity for the school district to look at encouraging communities that wish to put a school bus stop within the gates. It is a public safety matter. Marina Bay sits on a highly traveled route, especially in the morning when these kids are out there. We should all be looking towards creating a greater safety network for these children, to have a community that is willing and able to facilitate a bus stop where these parents can drop their kids off, know that the kids are going to safely get on and off the bus. I believe should be a priority for the school district. And I think the issue with Marina Bay just opens up the view and the opportunity for every one of you to look at encouraging communities that are willing to do this. It's hard enough to explain to people moving here from out of the state about how the school district operates and how their kids are not going to the school right next door. So I think we should facilitate the fact that these kids need a safe place to get on and off the bus. Now, you don't want to see the headlines with a big old dump truck hitting a school bus because it's stopped on a busy 6-lane road for kids to get on and off the bus. So I hope you look at this as an opportunity that it has created and you exercise your conscience to offer the opportunities to not just this community, but to all communities. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Maggie Walters, and I wanted to speak on behalf of all teachers for a really long time, but since it's Teacher Appreciation Week, I thought it would be fitting to speak today. And I'm a teacher. An old cover of Time magazine states, "I have a master's degree, 16 years experience, work 2 extra jobs, and donate blood plasma to pay for all of my bills. I'm a teacher in America. So many stories are like this one. Most of my coworkers, including myself, and I took tonight off, work 2 jobs and have master's degrees. I personally have had people say to me, "Why would you teach for 27 years? Did you not have other options?" Of course I had other options. But my heart has been in teaching since I was a little girl. And I used to teach my stuffed animals after school in my room in a very rural area of Montana. I am yet another Florida transplant. I loved connecting and correcting papers with my stuffed animals. This love continued for years, and I decided to major in early childhood education, then elementary education, special education, and finally attained a master's in curriculum instruction with a concentration in reading, plus 9 endorsements. Why? I love learning, and then turning around and teaching children what I have learned. Unfortunately, I wonder how long I will be able to work 2 jobs to support my children who are in college now, 1 in medical school. I listen to my coworkers, wonder how they will pay their rent or their medical bills when their mortgages are going up or their medical bills are going up. 1 teacher right next to me dealing with cancer and her mortgage goes up. The cost of living has skyrocketed in Florida. Why hasn't our salaries? Why are we paid so much lower than other states? I could move, but my family has grown, and I'm now a grandparent, a very proud grandparent. And I want to see my grandchildren go to school in Lee County just like my other children have. I moved here 14 years ago. And unfortunately, my pay has not changed much. I know this is not your fault and a problem.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is up, ma'am.
Will the following individuals please line up? Cara Besh, Marsha Ellis, Janine Arbutron Rhymes, India Palencia, Cheyenne Grant.
Hi, it's been a few years since I've been to school board meetings. Some of you remember me. One of the things that I used to talk about in the 20-teens was we needed an opt-out form, or rather an opt-in form instead of an opt-out form. Okay, and we finally got that in July of last year when you made option 3 the default option, which essentially means that if a parent doesn't fill out the form, it defaults to option 3. And in order for the children to have access to the questionable materials in the media center, the parents would have to take an active role in that. Finally, after 12 years, we got that in July of last year. And then one school board member decided, no, not good enough. We need to go back. So I'm very disappointed in that one school board member. Now, I've learned today that this might not be coming up for vote tonight, but whether it is or not, whether it's tonight or another night, I urge the 4 of you who voted for this last year in July to hold the line and continue to vote the right way. And I urge the rest of you to consider your actions because others are watching what you're doing. Okay, thank you.
Sir, could you
Mr.
please
Valena?
state your name?
Your name on the record, please, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Can you,
Me?
just, we need it for the record, sir.
Bob Valenta, Robert Valenta.
Thank you, Mr. Valena.
Good evening, Robert Roper. The Curriculum Advisory Committee, under the leadership of Board Member Giovanelli, just last year brought to the board an amazing process that was innovative and groundbreaking. It was amazing because it provided a means of protecting children and parental rights, regardless of a person's point of view, political affiliation, educational level, or level of engagement. The board that is seated tonight is the same board that was instrumental in putting this process in place. The only thing that's changed is the board member over the Curriculum Advisory Committee. This process was desired by the board in July of 2023 because it represented the process that by default would provide the best protection to the children of the district while at the same time grant the greatest amount of control to the parents of all walks of life. The fact remains that when a book is challenged, it is challenged for a reason. And there is no possible way that any parent can possibly know every book title and author without the assistance of this process. In the last curriculum advisory meeting, a great amount of time was spent analyzing data. And data has its place, but not in creating a policy or a process that protects such a broad range of children. Here is what the data would tell you right now. Not having a default for the children whose parents are not engaged enough for them to fill out the forms puts the most at-risk group at greater risk. These kids are not data. They're not a percentage. They're not a statistic. Each of the 39,541 are individual children that deserve the protection provided in this process. Please vote. I'm asking all 7. Please vote to protect the children in the district by retaining the media access process as it is in its current state. Thank you.
Good evening, Marcia Ellis for the record, and I'm standing before you today to talk about serious concerns regarding coordination and cumulative impacts of traffic and transportation on the safety of children at bus stops throughout this community. I'm just going to say that not participating at the MPO at the Metropolitan Planning Organization, again, in the most recent TAC meetings, May 1st, 2024, is a vacation for whoever has duty and responsibility to coordinate transportation matters with this community. And I mean, not in terms of somebody going to do something else fun, but I mean vacating the duty and the responsibility that we have to protect our children. I've been given different stories over the past well over a year about who was going to be there, whose responsibility it was. Specifically, the name tags that sat on the side were for David Riviera, Supervisor of Transportation Safety and Training, and Pamela Hughes.
Ma'am, we're not going to get into employees' names right now, please.
Okay, those are the people who were supposed to be there, and they weren't there, in all transparency. I'm just sharing to you the people who were appointed to those duties, in case you didn't know. I'm going to also say that recently there was a zoning hearing that took place regarding a development next to Sunshine Elementary. And in that zoning case, there does not appear to be any coordination with the school district regarding the bike ped, the fact that there are children walking, what's on this property, which happens to include 28 gopher tortoise burrows, and the fact that there could be good benefit to the community that's not being looked at because there's a failure to communicate with the district and the broader community in the interest of everyone. On that property, there were also 2 violations, an oil well and some residual contamination that's been remediated. So when we walk away from these duties, all right, the consequences is that children are less safe. And I ask that that coordination take place, regardless of whether it's the people whose names I called out, though I didn't get to finish, or whomever the district is charged with that, including the weekly call-ins that are recorded with the county manager and the lobbying records. I know there are conversations happening, and I want to see advocacy on the part of our school for a better community. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jenny Albritton Rhymes. This is my 24th year of teaching. I moved here in 2017. I left Georgia because Florida offered me more money. I have 3 degrees. I have 16 hours towards my master's. I play and teach every instrument in the band and orchestra. I also teach chorus and theater. I've taught in 3 states at every level from pre-K to 12th grade, and it is still not enough. USA Today states that a livable wage in Florida is $58,970 per year. That's 2.6% higher than elsewhere in the nation. The starting salary in Lee County is now $50,000. I've taught for 25 years, and I don't even make that yet. I make $55,000 as my base salary. I bring home $4,000 a month, and that is $1,300 under what I need. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, I am a widow with 5 children. I don't have a husband to help supplement my income. So I have one question for you. What do I tell my children when they ask me, can we go to the grocery this week? What do I tell them when I can't buy them shoes and we have to rely on the charity of the schools to put shoes on their feet? I know you're not going to answer me tonight, but what do I tell them when there is no justification as to why a widow with 2 degrees and 24 years of teaching experience cannot afford to feed her children?
Good evening, school board and our Superintendent Savage. My name is India Palencia. I am speaking to you once again on behalf of the community of Marina Bay. I'm actually very happy and full of gratitude to get to speak to you about our community tonight. I'm not coming to you with a bag, I'm coming to you with a thanks. Our Transportation Review Committee reviewed our bus stop, and even though it wasn't exactly what we wanted, they granted to move our bus stop to a safer location for our kids. And I can't begin to tell you how many of my neighbors have been bombarding me with messages since I've been in this room, because I got the message while I was sitting in here. I did not have the news until well into the awards ceremony, so this is news to me, and it's news to our community, and they are thrilled. They're absolutely thrilled. At the same time, though, I have to say it has taken us 8 months of advocacy to get here. That needs to change. It shouldn't take 8 months of advocacy to get a bus stop moved. It shouldn't be that difficult. I shouldn't have had to send hundreds of emails and hundreds of phone calls and spoken to elected leaders and had to reach out to FDOT and FMPD and LCSO and people who are running for office just to get my foot in the door. That is a failure. That should never be the case. Additionally, there's some things that I think as a board you need to be aware of. In the process of this, it has become abundantly clear that we have a litany of bus stops in our county that are highly unsafe, as we were told so many times that ours wasn't as bad as X, Y, and Z. That needs to be addressed immediately. I know that you were addressed by Roger Lloyd today in the workshop about the transportation department. need to look at those facts and figures and compare them to school districts similar to ours, and compare and contrast and find out what's working elsewhere. Additionally, you need to be aware that we've been told they're planning on pulling out of all gated communities and putting kids on main thoroughfares. That's alarming. We have a lot of kids in gated communities at safe locations. So I urge you to take a deep dive into these things and weigh that data that you're getting and dig a little deeper. Find out what that data means and how it actually impacts, and don't go just on the surface. What does the data mean, and what does it actually tell us? So that's why I'm here. Thank you for moving our bus stop. I appreciate it.
Your time is up. Thank you.
Will the following individuals please line up? Kara Rothburn, Sandy Clark, Chrissy DiVigili, Charla Fox.
Hello, good evening. My name is Cheyenne Grant, and I'm in my 5th year teaching for Lee County Schools. I teach kindergarten, and I love my job. My coworkers, my admin, and my students are all amazing. I am super passionate about teaching, and I love making a difference. I had great academic success in high school, and everyone always said that I shouldn't teach because I wouldn't make any money. They'd always tell me, be a pediatrician or a college professor, but my passion lies with the little ones. I always thought, there's no way it's as bad as people say. So I got my education, and I started my dream job. But I didn't just want to be a teacher. I wanted to be a great teacher. I am constantly seeking out more learning opportunities, and I'm always reflecting on how to grow. This year, my students had the best data in all of primary at my school. I was so proud of them. I even had the honor of winning Teacher of the Year. Blew my mind. I felt such pride about this. But unfortunately, not everything has gone so to plan. You see, I bought my first home last year, a huge accomplishment and one that I had been ready for a long time. However, because of the inflation of the housing market, I couldn't find a home in my price range. Everyone always told me your mortgage should be about 28% of your income. Even with my partner, my half of the mortgage is about 50% of my monthly pay. Then our HOA went up. Groceries went up. Our homeowner's insurance went up. I felt like I was drowning. I picked up shifts at my second job serving tables on the weekends. I started attending all the paid trainings that I could. But even with the extra income, I'm always worried about money. Sorry. I'm a college-educated professional. I'm Teacher of the Year. I work so hard, and I love my job. I change lives. Why do I have to worry about getting by? Right now, it's just my partner and I, but I want to start a family. I cannot imagine bringing a baby into the world where I feel like this, while I work 6 days a week, sometimes 7. I'm exhausted, and it's no secret that teaching, in and of itself, has a lot of hidden work that people don't see. Grading papers, lesson plans, laminating, cutting, calling families. I mean, the list goes on and on. I often say there's a never-ending to-do list that you'll never catch up on, but you try your best to do as much as you can because you love these kids. But no matter how much we love the kids, no matter how much we love to teach, no matter how much we want to make a difference, there has to be change because this is unsustainable. We are going to lose passionate educators, not because they don't want to teach, but because we cannot afford to. Thank you.
Hello, thanks for the opportunity to speak. My name is Kara Besh, and well, first of all, the first comment I have is those rules that you have, like, does it get rowdy in here or something? Because I'm looking around, I don't think any of those bad things are going to happen tonight. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about was the media access form, which a couple people have already talked about. But I guess I'm really probably reiterating some of the things that they said, but I wanted to make sure that it was understood that the form doesn't like ban books, burn books, you know, and we're really kind of taking a conservative approach. We're not even asking for anything to be removed from the resource materials. We just want the parents to have rights to decide what materials their children are subjected to, honestly. And I just wanted to say that option 3, which is the one where the parents will, if they, by default, like if they don't fill out the form, then it's no access to anything. Because parents are busy. I'm not a parent anymore of young kids, but I do know there's a lot more forms to fill out now than what we ever had to do. And, well, there's one more thing I wanted to read out of here. Yeah, so with option 3, parents have to expressly grant written permission before the students can access the questionable material of the media center or library in the public schools. It's one thing to forget to sign an opt-out form, but when they have to actively say, I want my kids to see this smut, they're less likely to do so. So thank you for the opportunity to address you.
Next speaker, please.
Good evening. I'm Carrie Rathbun. I'm really nervous here to be speaking to you all. I first off want to thank you for being in the seat you're in and having to make the tough decisions that you have to make every day. I do get it. I understand it. I've been in a seat like that before. I also understand that the vision of this school system is to become world-class. And without keeping world-class teachers, we're going to lose focus on that vision. And I just hear these stories every day from teachers I work with that we can't keep up with the inflation. You guys know, you understand it, you're living it like we are. And all we're asking is that you continue to support us the best that you can and try to find every resource that you can to support us as teachers. And we really do understand and appreciate the job that you are doing. The focus is always the students. And for teachers that are leaving, they don't want to leave. They want to be here teaching. And those are the teachers that you want in the classrooms. And the reason you don't have as many people here is because they're doing it every day, even though they can't afford to, because they feel it's the best thing for our students. So I'm asking you to have the forward thinking to help make this system world-class. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sandy Clark. Thank you for allowing me to speak to you all tonight. I would like to start by thanking the board for all of your hard work supporting students, teachers, and staff. I'm a special education teacher in the district and speak from my own experience and perspective. It is my understanding that back in 2014 there was a legislative change resulting in Lee County schools discontinuing the option of a special diploma for our ESE students. I believe this change came about after a parent shared their concerns over how their child was not provided an appropriate education. When the special diploma option was removed at the state level, it also removed all intensive academic course codes. While working in special education the past decade, I've seen our grade level standards rise significantly. This change in standards has caused a larger gap between grade level standards and access point standards. Access point standards are only available to students with an intellectual disability, and the criteria for receiving an intellectual disability has narrowed. Unfortunately, we now have a large number of students that are unable to meet grade level standards even with appropriate accommodations and services, but they fall short of the criteria to be considered intellectually disabled. I would like to propose that the school district reinstate intensive academic courses. I realize this is not solely a Lee County Schools decision, but it would be prudent to have an advocate or committee in the district that can advocate for this change. I would be happy to serve on such a committee, as would many of our special education teachers. Secondly, I would like to discuss the budget and salaries. I would like to acknowledge that this board worked with our negotiating team last year to bring teachers a generous salary and benefits package. Our raises were much higher than in years past, and benefits remained unchanged. I would also like to ask all board members to set their financial perspective aside for a moment and consider a different perspective. If I can take you all back to the year 2000, the average teacher's salary was $37,000. If you were a young teacher just starting out, you may have considered moving into a one-bedroom apartment, which costs about $540. That would be 18% of your monthly salary. Today, the average teacher salary is $53,000. Same young teacher starting out, same one-bedroom apartment, now costs $1,600. So your salary went up 43%, and your cost of living or rental went up over 200%, 3 times what you paid. The lesson I learned over the summer when my 22-year-old daughter graduated from college and moved into her own apartment, we searched for apartments in the area. Oh, shit. How can we expect to attract and retain high qualified teachers to work in our
Thank you for your comments, ma'am. Your time is up.
Thank you.
Christy DiVigili. I sent most of you an email earlier today outlining the conspiratorial and downright divisive actions of board member Chris Patrica in regards to the Curriculum Advisory Committee and its inability to operate with integrity. I will not waste anyone's time repeating myself tonight, but I would ask that this board review the contents of that email, consider the severity of your fellow board members' actions, and put policy in place with consequences for abusing the role of board liaison to include removal from the committee in question for a minimum of 1 year. Staying on the topic of committees, I would also ask that the board look into the integrity of the process guiding the Transportation Review Committee, including committee member selection and proper recording procedures. I am a member of that committee. I was deeply disappointed when I realized that there are more people on the committee with an @leeschools.net email address than there are not. I was even more disappointed that no formal minutes and/or record keeping was documented for any of the meetings that I've been a part of. How is the community supposed to trust that district committees are operated with integrity when there is practically zero transparency or accountability? After listening to everything I've just said, I don't know how anyone could. I will finish, I've got 2 more things. No one should have to submit a public records request for the audio recording and minutes to a meeting that is supposed to be noticed and made publicly available. It took me more than a week. It took not me. It took the department more than a week for the audio and minutes to be made publicly available. That is completely unacceptable. And if it ever happens again, I will elevate my concerns to every agency that governs you every single time it happens. And, I also wanted to comment on the speaker right before me. That information regarding the special education department and the diplomas, that I think you guys need to take into consideration what she just said, have someone from staff contact her, and maybe ask the teachers to present that information to you rather than receiving it from whomever you're receiving it from. Because I've never heard those statistics given from this dais or anyone presenting to it. And that's a big problem. So is that board member.
Good evening, Board. Charla Fox. I speak not for myself because you've heard me speak many times, but for those teachers that can't make it and for those support staff that can't come and don't feel comfortable coming. It's a little intimidating for many people to get up here and put themselves out to speak to you this way. It is a challenge. But I've been racking my brain for the last 2 weeks and longer to try and figure out what it is that will let you know what your teachers and what your support personnel are dealing with on a daily basis. And we love our kids, but I have heard more this year about people leaving the district, people leaving education, or people leaving the state of Florida to teach in other states than I have ever in my career heard. Most of you know I grew up here. I was born here, I was raised here. I was raised in the education system here. My parents were educators here. My parents educated some of you and some of the people out here. A well-educated populace is the wellspring of a strong democracy, of a strong group that can move forward and take us where we need to be. We need teachers and support personnel that can do what is needed every single day, because the working conditions, and working conditions include what teachers are going through, what support personnel go through every single day in order to get to the building. That's their learning conditions. And so if you have people that don't have to worry about all these extraneous things, about whether or not they can meet their mortgage, whether or not they can find enough food for themselves and their children, they then can put their attention towards what's going on with their students in a better frame. I want you to be aware of that. We appreciate the steps that you have taken so far. This board did a wonderful step last year. Okay, and it really helped, but things have continued. Let's just say it that way. And it's not quite enough. It was the first step.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is up.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes public comment.
Thank you, Attorney Debris Bruno. Dr. Savage or Attorney Debris Bruno, is there anything you'd like to address regarding public comment tonight?
Yes, Chairman, just a few things. One of the comments that was made was just in raising awareness of how to engage with the county in terms of traffic, transportation, but also just zoning and so forth. And so I have reached out to our Chief Operations Officer who supervises both the planning department. That's one of the functions of the planning department, is to ensure that there's proper engagement with all of our municipal entities, including the county and so forth, as well as our transportation department, whenever there's work that aligns with that as well. So he already had indicated that there was some engagement there. I'm also meeting with the county leadership coming up very soon, so I'll make sure to raise the issue of just how formalized those engagements are currently, and so that's, I think, a fair comment that we always want to be able to say publicly and transparently. These are the formal mechanisms by which we are engaging with our county partners and with all of our different municipal entities. That is designed through the planning department. That is one of those functions, but transportation having ongoing engagement, as well as specifically all the plans that we have to build schools, remodel schools, and anything that impacts the larger infrastructure. Another comment that was just made was just about concerns of the process related to Transportation Review Committee and so forth. And so I will say there's always an opportunity for continuous improvement, specifically at the system level. That's one of the things that I'm always very interested in doing, is analyzing our systems. And anytime we hear that a process is over 8 months and so forth, I think opportunities for looking at our process and evaluating that, as well as membership and so forth. Those things are all, as well as transparency. I guess there was a dialogue around formal minutes and so forth. There's just lots of opportunity for us to continue to evaluate those aspects. Last but not least, just with the special education, I have made some outreach directly with our Student Services Department just so we can get some facts on that. We'll make sure to put some specific information related to the cited issue of the 2014 special diploma. Obviously, when it's a statewide level of change, that's just information we want to make sure you as board members have. So in case you get any type of specific advocacy for a position that you may have interest in advocating for at some point, that you have all the facts based on our best understanding of staff as well. So we'll make sure to put something in the board weekly that speaks to that, as well as potential engagement with Ms. Clark on that. Those are some of the other thematic ones I didn't necessarily have any response for, but I'm happy if there's anything specific you would like addressed. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Savage. Attorney Pre-Bruno?
Mr. Chairman, the only thing I would add to what Dr. Savage indicated is with regards to the Transportation Review Committee. That is a recommendation with regards to minutes and notes that was made, and that will be occurring starting with the second Marina Bay review. So we will have notes, minutes, something reflecting the discussion and the votes that were taken.
Thank you, Attorney Pre-Bruno. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, as usual, for your public comments. We truly, truly appreciate up here, and thank you to our educators. At this point, we're going to move on to approval of action items in the agenda under consent. The documentation for action items listed under consent is made available to board members 7 business days prior to the board meeting. We're expected to review all the material, and we have an opportunity to speak with the superintendent with any questions we may have regarding the recommendations. Some of these items have also been briefed or workshopped with the board in advance of appearing on the action agenda. Board members, are there any agenda items you wish to pull for discussion under unfinished business tabulation portion of the agenda? Ms. Juvenelli?
I have none, thank you.
Ms. Patrica?
No, thank you.
Ms. Jordan?
I have none, thank you.
Mr. Persons?
I have none also.
Ms. Langford Fleming?
I have none.
Ms. Morgan?
No, thank you.
Okay. And I have none. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda item as posted? Mr. Persons?
I move we approve the agenda as posted.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, item moved by Mr. Persons and seconded by Ms. Langford Fleming. Please record your vote. Motion carries 7-0. At this point, Dr. Savage, please introduce any administrators in attendance with a new assignment approved under the consent agenda.
It would be my great pleasure, Chairman. So first, I'd like to recognize Melissa Rivera, who's moving from our current role in the district to Facility Development and Programming Records and the position of Coordinator for Capital Project Management. Melissa? I'd also like to recognize Ms. Tanya Beams in our Human Resource Operations area, who is being promoted to the Assistant Director of Human Resource Operations. I'd also like to welcome a new face, Sherman Stroman, in Talent Acquisition in our Human Resource as the Director of Talent Acquisition. Welcome. Last but not least, not here today is Mr. Richard Aviles, who is one of our longtime employees as well in the Business Data Systems, moving into Director of Business Data Systems for Richard Aviles. That is all.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent, and congratulations to everyone. Next up on the agenda is item P, Attorney's Recommendations, which would be approval of the list of hearing officers. Attorney Pre-Bruno, please read your attorney's recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, we're asking the board to approve a list of hearing officers for hearings that do not fall under Chapter 120. This list will be effective for 1 year, and it authorizes the board attorney to execute all related documents.
Board members, is there a motion to approve? Ms. Jordan?
I move to approve the list of hearing officers named by Mr. Pre-Bruno.
Do we have a second?
I'll second. Morgan.
Okay, moved by Ms. Jordan, seconded by Ms. Morgan. Do we have any discussion? Okay, seeing none, please record your vote. Yeah. Oh, sorry. We're going to do a roll call. Starting off with Ms. Juvenelli?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ms. Patrica?
Yes, please.
Ms. Jordan?
Aye.
Mr. Persons?
Yes.
Ms. Langford Fleming?
Yes.
Ms. Morgan?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Motion carries 7-0. At this point, we are going to move on to good of the order and other business, board member comments, and I promised, and they won't let me forget, I will start with our student representative, AJ, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. I have only been a part of the Lee County School District for a few short years. However, in that time, I have seen all that the district can accomplish. I have seen how the district chooses to support students and how this support can be modified to enhance student support. The Lee County School District has spent a plethora of resources into improving both the quality of our schools and education, yet I feel that some of those efforts have gone to waste. Often, students in accelerated programs like myself are limited with what regard we can achieve in school. While I doubt this is intentional, it is my opinion that the district needs to dedicate more resources to supporting our academically driven students who are often left to the wind. Students, teachers, and educators alike face these limitations in programs like ACE, IB, and Cambridge, more so than non-accelerated path students. From the change to a 7-period schedule in 2022 to the attempt at reducing IB students' involvement within their schools' programs, I believe that the district must put forth more effort to proportionately dedicate resources to all students. I have seen firsthand the issues that arise due to lack of support in my education. It is unfair and unjust that students should go through their high school education unsupported, and it is discussions like the ones that we are having that must change this. Likewise, students at the other end of the spectrum are also severely lacking in their support. Across some Lee County high schools, class sizes of 35 to 40 are becoming increasingly common. This combination of large class sizes and shortened periods place ever-increasing pressures on teachers, as well as make it vastly harder to properly succeed in a school day. With numbers approaching 40, it is simply not practical for a learning setting. Classes are loud and unfocused, leaving more students unable to succeed to their fullest potential. Because of this, redistribution of support is something that I would like to focus on, as I feel that A, supporting our students is of the highest priority, and B, discussions must be had to succeed in this. While I can only speak regarding primary changes, all students have been impacted by this lack of properly allocating resources, and as such, demands that we discuss ways in which to change this. My preferred change of action would be to return to a 4x4 block schedule. However, I am not naive to the teacher shortage crisis nationwide and understand its impracticality. Thereby, my hope is that immediate measures could be taken to adjust IB students' bell schedules specifically. This change would impact a group of students most impacted by the reduction of classes and could be easily established within individual IB programs to suit the needs of each school. Like how different options were suggested by the district during the switch to 7 periods, a similar concept of 3 or 4 different schedule rotations could be allowed, giving different schools the opportunity to apply what is best. This change would not only support students, but allow teachers to realign their class setups to how the International Baccalaureate Organization intended classes within their IB program to be structured. This would allow teachers to impose more interactive styles of learning that aren't possible in 45-minute periods, as well as reduce the need for students to split up either assessments or assignments across multiple days or periods. A similar structure could be instituted for AP and ACE schools. My personal experience is with the IB program and AP classes. However, I imagine that ACE schedules could also be adjusted to better support their needs. Thank you for your time this evening and willingness to listen to a student voice. I'd like to thank my principal, Mr. Jackson, for allowing me this opportunity to speak up, as well as my parents for encouraging me to always voice my concerns. Likewise, my teachers have played a crucial role in the development of my goals as a student in person. I'd like to take a moment of your time to acknowledge just a few of them. First, to Ms. Kohler, who has taught me throughout my last 2 years in AP Psychology and IB Psychology courses that there are more to people than what's at first glance. And to Mrs. Davis, who has gotten me through the rigor of AP Calculus AV too many times to count. Thank you to the both of you. I am who I am because of teachers like them, who continually put their student success above all else. The IB staff at Cape Coral High School is unlike any other, and I couldn't be more thankful for their continual support. I appreciate the district's efforts, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, AJ. Thank you for your comments, real-world feedback, and your solutions to those problems. It's great to have you up here. Next up will be Ms. Giovanelli.
And I'll be quick. First of all, AJ, thank you. And I hope that the superintendent will take some of your advice. because I appreciate your advocacy for that. That's awesome. Thank you. And I'm just going to be real quick. It's Teacher Appreciation Week, and I want you to thank a teacher this week. Please make a point to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Patrica?
Thank you. I just want to tell AJ, lots of times students come up here and I walk away from the table feeling really good and like happy and upbeat and like extra bounce in my step. And tonight I feel like you spanked me a little bit, which is very much deserved. And while my colleague to the right put it on the superintendent, it's not on the superintendent, it's on the entire governance team to include the school board. I genuinely appreciate your feedback on these important issues. I will ask, if I may, through the chair to Dr. Savage, if you could just confirm the class size issues that were raised by AJ, either confirm or deny. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, we'll have to, we can get specific information to the board, at least in terms of that piece. I mean, class size definitely is more significant. That's how part of the shortage of addressing the teacher shortage. I think AJ kind of called out very eloquently how that challenge both in the schedule. I mean, she may remember, I was not really a huge fan of the 7-period day. I actually loved our 5x5 schedules, but there does become a point, 4x4, some really love that as well. The challenge, of course, is that those really were unsustainable when you looked at the current teacher shortage environment. That's class size, one of those mitigating factors. So it's just the complexity of that issue, but I really appreciate the feedback on advanced coursework as well. So thank you very much. But we'll get you specific information on current class sizes and so forth. Just so you have, as a governance team, we want you to have that the most current information at your fingertips. So we'll be happy to provide that.
I'd really appreciate that. It's always been my general understanding that we do everything we can to keep below the class size requirements associated with class size amendment in our core required courses, and that those extracurriculars tend to go high, but if something has shifted, that requires a discussion at the board table.
Absolutely. We'll give you that information, ma'am.
So that's one thing. The other thing is, you know, you heard a lot of people come up here tonight and talk about low teacher pay. And it's hard to hire teachers when we pay less than they do in Collier and less than they do in Charlotte. And what people may or may not understand is that Collier and Charlotte both have additional operational dollars coming in as tax dollars. So 1.0 mil extra is charged by Charlotte County and by Collier County, and all of that money goes into their operational budget to pay teachers and other staff more than we can pay because we don't have that 1.0 additional operational millage here in Lee County. That is something that the board would have to decide to put on the ballot for the people in Lee County to vote for, and there is no appetite on this board for that, or at least that's the discussion that has been heard or that has taken place up to this point. So I just want you to be aware of logistically part of the reason why we are where we are, and also let you know that, you know, I'm not going to walk out with a spring in my step, but what you said is taken very seriously. So thank you for your comments. That's it for me tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Patrica. Ms. Jordan?
Thank you. I have a few things. AJ, thank you very much for your truth. I really appreciate that. And that's why you're in the Seahawks, because they always are, you know, not afraid to state their opinion and put the word out. So I truly appreciate what you said. This has been a pretty busy few weeks for myself. Today again, you know, this week again is the Teachers Appreciation Day, and I really want to thank everybody out here in our community who are our teachers. We do really appreciate you. And I want to, because I know they're still here, I want to give a shout out to Mrs. Angela Montemorano, our CHRO. She has been appointed to the Board of Advisor for the HRO Association today. So she's representing Lee County, which I think is amazing. She just got here. She's already representing us, so thank you for what you do. That's phenomenal. I also, this week, I had many visits to schools, too many to name. We could be here till tomorrow. I want to give a shout out to North Fort Myers Academy of the Arts. We've seen them here today, and I had the opportunity to go watch their Disney Junior Descendants, which they did phenomenal. And I had watched that the day before with my grandchildren, so when I went, it was difficult because I kept looking at the kids and seeing it they were on point for everything. It was just phenomenal. I attended the District Career Advisory Board meeting that was held at Island Coast. We had community members came together to see what we need and what they're looking for as far as students coming out. We had a lot of people there, and they took tours of Island Coast to see where, what they're actually doing in their academies. So that was a lot of fun. Mr. Fisher had mentioned Take Stock today, this morning. Law Week, we had one of our own from East Lee, Kyle McBride, won the James Adam Award, which was, he was excited about winning that. And then just, we had recognitions this week. The 2024 Mentor of the Year, Ms. Olmstead, congratulations, from Ida Baker. Ida Baker represented tonight here as well. And our new Teacher of the Year, Mr. Jones at Lambs. It was phenomenal going in there and presenting to him. He was so shocked, and his all-time word was wow. Every time somebody said something, it was wow. And he just made you feel like you just had to hug him. It was really a good feeling for him. We had the 2024 Lee County Student Film and Television Awards, and this was the first time that we've done it in person, oh gosh, since COVID. So that was exciting. I know Mr. Persons was there as well. And then right after that, we had the JRTC award ceremony that took place at South Fort Myers. Our own Mary Graham, she received an award for all the stuff that she has done for the JRTC and helping them to achieve their whatever they need. Autism Acceptance Awards, we had a teacher from Goff Elementary received an award there. And then I actually, like I said, it's just been a crazy busy week. Latinos in Action, I had an opportunity to go there at FGCU. And we have kids from all over. And thank you, Mr. Ramirez, for bringing that here to Lee County. As you know, we are a majority district, and just seeing those kids attending that and feeling empowered and feeling that they have opportunities. It was really great. Miss Morgan was there as well. And so we got to I was able to watch some of their performances, and they just spoke about where they were from. It was just a nice all-around event. And then last, I had the opportunity to go to Orlando to I took a tour of the Academic Center for Excellence. It's a community partnership school because I really wanted to see how they work. So they invited me to come there, and I drove up there and I walked through their clinics and just to see how do they operate their school and clinic as to our Franklin Park that will be opening in August. And it was really great to see how they all work intertwined together, and they work together, and it's about the school, the students, the community. So that to me was just a great opportunity that I felt that I really needed to go and see that to understand how they work. And again, I'm just trying to be out there, being supportive of our teachers, our staff, and listening to the teachers tonight. It just really gets you, because I'm going to go out there and try to work with the county commission and everybody else now to see if what can we do as a whole, because it's not just here, it's Lee County. So we need to work together to see what are some solutions, how do we figure that out. And then of course, AJ, with you bringing that now, there's more for us to think about. So yeah, I felt like I got spanked with you. Yes. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. For the spanking. Thank you. A spanking.
Thank you, Ms. Jordan. Mr. Persons?
Yeah, the two events with Ms. Jordan was really quite exciting. The Student Film and Television Awards, they got to walk the red carpet, have their pictures taken, got something close to it's a trophy, but similar to what they would get. They were really very excited about that. The JROTC, last year they had a woman, I should say female student. She's not in charge of over all the battalions. This year it was passed to another female student who will be in charge. So guys, you got to start working a little harder. That's all I can say. We had a audit committee meeting, And just briefly, we went over the, what was the word? How do I want to say that? The job description. Thank you so much. And they made some fantastic adjustments to it and ideas for it, and we're working on that to be able to present to y'all. And finally, on the Curriculum Advisory Committee I was on, they went over a lot of things, but they really did do a lot that we did in procurement today. They had a lot of questions that they want procurement to come and ask them directly, a lot more than what I felt we had time to bring up today, because really that they want to be presented first. So that's all that's happening along with everything else.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr.
Did you mean construction?
Yeah, I think he meant
Oh, I'm sorry. What did I say?
construction. You said curriculum.
I apologize. Curriculum, construction, they sort of both start with C. Yeah, exactly.
That's all.
It was the construction committee.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Persons. Ms. Langford Fleming?
All right, indulge me for a few because I said I was going to wait till this evening, so. First of all, great information brought about transportation, what's going on in the community. We do need to have representation there. Public records requests should not take that long. I completely agree. So I'll have a discussion with someone else. The Marina Bay, you made a great point, 8 months to get your point across. And then we all came to somewhat of some happy place that I think could have, with great conversation and open conversation, could have happened months ago. But correct me if I'm wrong, through the chair to the attorney, you gave up some personal time to attend this meeting, hear from this community, so I just wanted to thank you for doing that, and somewhat being a voice for what you thought would be best, so thank you for that. Thank you. So let's go to AJ. Nope. You're too much of a highlight. One moment. Sorry. Film festival. I couldn't go because I was at the district championship at Island Coast versus Fort Myers High. I know that's shocking to all of you. Yeah. But, man, what a game. I mean, it went into the 9th inning. Island Coast pulled it off with you guys can Google this later, with a suicide squeeze. If you understand baseball, you'll understand what that is. That was really risky, but it paid off, so congratulations to Island Coast for being district champions in that game. Outstanding baseball, and I will tell you, both teams displayed outstanding sportsmanship. Outstanding sportsmanship. Made me so proud of both of those teams. On to the star of the show, AJ. Thank you for bringing not just what concerned you, but some solutions. Because when people come to me, I'm not even talking about in this realm, and complain, but they don't have a solution, I sort of turn them off a little bit in my mind, because I need something more than that. So thank you for that. I agree with you. I think that we need to think outside of the box a little bit. There's some ways we can maybe get creative with our bell schedule time to accommodate our students that are accelerated learning. That also helps, like you mentioned tonight, kids on other side of the spectrum and in between, those kids in between. I talked about that a couple of board meetings ago about how important that is. It's come to my attention, and I've done a little bit of, I've had some major conversations about this with some of our principals. 2 things are going on in our IB programs, from what I understand. And I would like some clarification on maybe our, God bless you, again. I would like some clarification maybe in our one-on-ones, or maybe this is a discussion each of us can have, and maybe bring, maybe enlighten me as maybe an ignorant part of my board membership on the IB program, but there is an IB cap on some of our IB schools and how many students can enter that program. 2 things are happening. The These are conversations I've had. Students that really want that IB diploma, that is what they want. They want that IB diploma, and I don't think that as a child that is working hard, excelling at school, that really wants something like that, that they would ever be hindered and have to choose something, another route, if you will, just because we have a cap on our IB schools on how many students can participate in that program, as long as we have the seats. Does that make sense, Superintendent? Okay, I'm getting a nod. Okay, my concern is, which I know is happening, students that truly want this IB diploma are not, and seats are not available, are choosing the private school route. And we are in now a world of being a customer service-based program with a public school, with, especially with the voucher system. And we want students like you in our system, AJ. Like, we want to, maybe I shouldn't speak on behalf of the board, but we're fighting for students like you and all students. But I understand where you're coming from, because I have just recently had these discussions. So thank you for bringing it again to our attention, so that maybe we can all have a conversation, which is really important. And you go, girl. Man, are your parents here tonight?
Yeah, my mom's in the audience.
Oh. Awesome job. You better thank her every day. Mother's Day's this weekend. So thank you. You've raised a wonderful young lady. And then last but not least, of course, this is Teacher Appreciation Week. It is near and dear to my heart as a former 20-year veteran educator. I got to go, the best part of my job is going to see schools. So I spent time in a classroom in Villas Elementary. Courtney Wyatt will be so embarrassed that I just said her name on public record. But I learned about Gallonland. I learned about how she is teaching students to be accountable to each other. I'm getting chills right now. She is teaching students how to communicate, how to reiterate, and how to actively listen. I highly recommend anyone go visit her classroom. It was outstanding, and it gave me all kinds of great feels when I left that day. And I'll leave you with this. The best thing about being an educator or a teacher is that it matters. The hardest thing about being an educator is that it matters every single day. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Langford Fleming. Ms. Morgan?
That's tough to follow, because I think you absolutely nailed that one. And thank you, AJ, for your comments as well. I have two things. First of all, I was thinking about our conversation regarding the recommendation from the advisory committee today, and I was reminded about the EDAC recommendation that was made to the board. I don't know if you all were here, but EDAC did make a formal recommendation to the board to go to a 7-member, single-member district as opposed to the hybrid model that we have now. And the board chose not to, basically asking us to put a referendum up. The board chose not to do it, had a vote, and it was done. So I think that's the way we need to respond to, even if we don't support a recommendation made, we have an obligation to honor the work of the committee by, as a board, responding to it. I would say that with respect to two of the teachers, Cheyenne Grant and Sandy Clark, they need to be talking to our delegation, not us. We need the members of our delegation to hear from them, because they are incredibly articulate. They bring a very strong argument. It's not about emotion. It is about the real problem that we have in Florida. And I think they represent the teachers and the special needs students really effectively. And honestly, there's a limit to what we can do as a board. The problem really is at the state level. And we need to be talking to our delegation. We don't need people telling us, we know what the problem is. We need people talking to them. They're the ones that are going to change how we finance public education in Florida. So I would love to see Mr. Gomez or the superintendent, someone take these teachers, oh yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I laughed. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
I would love to see, before the session starts, just as, this is what's happening in Lee County. This is what's really important to the people who work here. They need to hear it, not just us. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Morgan. Again, great job, AJ. I'll let Principal Jackson know you did awesome. So awesome to have your mom support here. She's doing great. I'm going to ask, as I did every time a student comes up here, when you get through college, medical school, your residency, come back down here to Lee County, please. So I hope your mom agrees with that too. So, but thank you so much for that. Most things were covered, Ms. Jordan. Thank you for getting Mr. Jones, Ms. Olmstead. I know you got most of the events, so I appreciate that. So I wanted to bring Teacher Appreciation Week. We really appreciate you. All of us had the opportunity to go out and read letters for Project Appreciation. It's amazing. So, and I know it's really just emotionally awesome experience. For the second year in a row, I got to read a letter to a teacher where the student was in the classroom again, and that was just, it was so amazing, and it really, tugs at the heartstrings, and just amazing what they do. So thank you, teachers. I also just want to acknowledge Gulf Elementary last week. Lieutenant Governor Jeanette Nunez came down and talked to our students and talked to the staff at Gulf Elementary in support of the space art program. We thank her for coming down and supporting Lee County as well. So I think that's all I have, so I'll move on to Attorney Dupree Bruno.
Thank you. I have a question, AJ. I noted there were some schools listed as your preferential choice. Was American University one of them?
Yes, it was.
American University in Washington, D.C.?
Yes.
That is my alma mater. So I actually went to the Washington College of Law, American University. So it's a great school. It's a great city. Massachusetts Avenue is the best. All of the embassies are there. It's a great neighborhood. So I will give a shout out to AU. You have a great future. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Dr. Savage, do you have any comments?
I had my earlier comments that I made, but just because of AJ, just have to also make sure, AJ, what you probably don't know about me, both my wife, both my brothers, they all taught advanced coursework to all of our students. That was, in fact, my youngest brother. I couldn't get together with him ever without him saying we have to do more to support some of our most high achieving students with the type of coursework and just the ambition, allowing you to really achieve the highest potential. So just know you're not alone, and your advocacy will continue to see if we can find ways to get you all the challenge that you're looking for, but do it under the current difficult environment and constraints. So thank you so much for speaking the truth, for your perspective today. We really appreciate it. Thank you for speaking up.
Thank you, Dr. Savage. On Thursday, May 23rd, there'll be a school board workshop at 12 p.m., the longevity ceremony at 5 p.m., followed by a school board action meeting at 6 p.m. At this point, having no other business come for this body and seeing no objection, this meeting is adjourned. The time is 7:45 p.m. Everyone have a great evening.